2014, Uber Eats looked a little bit different, and this is actually from, I believe, the second day of operation. So while people enjoy the selection of Uber Eats today, hundreds of restaurants, thousands of options, at one point, we actually hacked our rider app so that you only had one option at one meal service. So imagine that. You could order a sandwich, and the sandwich came super fast, and so that was sort of the advantage of it, but there wasn't a lot of selection. But even then, we saw a very strong demand for food delivery, and so this is back in 2014. Part of my team's job is to continue to experiment to find what's the actual product here that we want to launch and scale into a business. And so we said, hey, of course one isn't the end goal here, let's have 4 or 5 options. Got us a little bit further, but didn't get us to where we want to go, and that was in 2015. Then in 2016, we listened to our customers who said just more selection and faster delivery, more selection, more selection. So we said in order to make Uber Eats an experience that is true to food, we would actually have to build a separate app, because if you think about Uber's initial business or first business, which is personal transportation, you would open the app, you would hit a button, and you would get a ride somewhere. And so we said, could you open up an app and hit a button and get something else? And that something else was food. But people really wanted selection, so we launched our separate app in late 2015, and then 2016 we scaled throughout the world. Just to put it in perspective, we probably had about 45 or 50 cities live at the beginning of 2017. Now we have about 180. And so we've expanded extremely quickly to 80,000 restaurants worldwide. And to talk about the pace of that, we were at about, I think, 20,000 at the beginning of the year. If you think about Uber as a technology company that powers logistics, like how can software and technology and data make the real world more efficient and connect you with things in your city that you might not otherwise connect with? That's really what we focus on. And if you look at a 35-minute delivery, and I'll step out of the way here so you can see this, that's about the average delivery time in India today. About 15 minutes is the actual delivery. So food quality is quite important. So the food's out in the world for a very short period of time. About 20 minutes is prep time. So we work hard to get that 15 minutes down as much as possible, but we also work with our restaurant partners to get that 20 minutes down too, because when you're hungry, you want to eat. So getting your food fast is important, and we think that's something that we can do well. We're on 6 continents. The 7th one is Antarctica, so probably not going to launch there. But who knows? It's Uber. 29 countries and 180 cities. Launching more every day. So for those of you who are not familiar with the Uber app, the Uber Eats app, you have an eater app where you select what you would like, and then you have a restaurant app. So you place the order here, it goes to the restaurant app. This sits in the restaurant, and then the restaurant has a map of where all the delivery drivers are and all the orders. And then they pick the order, they make the order, and then they tell us when the order's done. The driver shows up at the restaurant. There's a lot of technology that connects these two efficiently, and then the driver brings it to you. And so software is sort of touching all 3 sides of the marketplace. And that software is an extremely important part of food delivery. If you think about the older days, and even some of the current days of food delivery, you would pick up the phone and call, and there would be no tracking. You wouldn't really be sure where your order was. Was it being made? Was it on its way? And so this transparency into where your food is at any moment, we think is an improved experience that people can enjoy. And it's something that we're sort of moving delivery into this new age. We're also adding restaurants beyond pizza, Chinese, and Indian food. I'm sure Indian food is quite popular here. In the US, those are the 3 cuisines that are most delivered. I'm most familiar with that market. And so we're extending selection into all kinds of food, very long tail of food. So it's not just an indulgence, but it can become an everyday thing as you provide more selection. Going into the 3 sides of the marketplace, because there's people involved here, and so our software interacts with people, it interacts with the physical world, it collects data constantly, and then we use that data to back up the promises we make. Our promise to eaters is to make eating well effortless at any time for anyone. This is actually the mission for our business that we talk about internally. Eating well is about getting what you want in that moment. And what you'll see in the Eater app is if each of us were to open up the Uber Eats app, and we had been using it for a while, you would actually see a different home screen. And it's because we're trying to connect you based on your preferences to what you want in that moment, even based on time. based on location. Those types of factors play in, because when you go from one meal delivered in a few minutes to hundreds of restaurants with thousands of items, now you have another problem, which is, how do I not scroll through a bunch of different food to get what I want? So you can use technology, you can use machine learning to actually solve those problems. So ultimately, that's about convenience, tracking, reliability, and then selection. You can really never have too much selection. Our restaurants who are creating this magical experience on the food side, you know, what we're trying to do is we're trying to separate the world of making food, which is what our restaurant partners are amazing at, and logistics, technology, acquiring customers, et cetera, which is what we aim to be good at. And you know, we're always getting better, but we're thinking about bifurcating that world, because many of them do not want to be in both of those businesses. Some of them do, but many of them do not. So if we can do that, then I think we'll be successful, and we'll unlock really interesting experiences. We'll allow restaurateurs to get even better at what they got in the restaurant business to do, which is to make food. On the delivery partner side of things, it's more work for more people, and more types of work that put you first. So Uber and UberEATS offers flexible work options. So UberEATS, you don't have to have a car. You know, you can have a bike and you can do food delivery. You can earn on your terms. You can turn on the app, do some deliveries, turn off the app, and go do something else. So that flexibility is core to what Uber is, and we're extending that to Eats in terms of more types of work. You can work whenever you want to as well. So these sides of the marketplace are what power the end experience. When you hit that button, making it simple is very complex. We use a lot of technology, a lot of data to try to make it simple. It's a constant effort, and we're constantly investing. But that's a little bit about UberEATS. So with that, hopefully that was a comprehensive overview from my perspective. Bhavek's going to talk a little bit more about India, which I'm personally more excited. I'm personally very excited to be in India. So with that, off to Bhavek.